There's a molecule out there making billions of dollars, and it's all based on a promise that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie. The power to literally turn back your body's clock. It's called NMN, and it has set off a global obsession. So the question is this the biggest health breakthrough of our lifetime? Or is it just the most brilliant marketing scheme we've ever seen? Let's dig in.
I mean, that's the ultimate dream, right? The fountain of youth, but instead of some hidden spring, it's bottled and shipped right to your front door. The idea is so tempting. Just a simple pill that could bring back that youthful energy, maybe patch up your DNA, and yeah, just maybe add more good years to your life.
And here is the punchline. It's a brutal one. While millions of people are spending their hard-earned money chasing this promise, a pretty shocking report found that most of them, well, they aren't even getting the molecule they paid for. They're literally just buying expensive dust. So what in the world is going on here?
Okay, to understand the chaos, we have to start with the science that kicked this whole thing off. And it all begins with one very, very important molecule.
That molecule is NMN, and you don't have to remember the full name, nicotinamide mononucleotide. Just know this, its whole job is to turn into something else inside your body, a molecule called NAD+. Now you can think of NAD+ as the power source for your cells. It's absolutely essential for creating energy, for repairing your DNA, basically for keeping your whole system running smoothly. Here's the problem. Our NAD+ levels, they just fall off a cliff as we get older.
So the theory is really simple, and honestly incredibly appealing. If you take NMN in a capsule, just like this one, you can boost those declining NAD+ levels. You're essentially recharging your body's batteries at the cellular level. And people who promote it claim this could lead to better energy, healthier aging, and a longer, better life.
And this idea was really brought to the masses by one guy in particular, the scientist David Sinclair. He championed this revolutionary concept that aging itself isn't something we just have to accept. He said we could actually treat it, not just the diseases that come along with it. And that single idea is what turned NMN from some obscure thing in a lab into a household name for anyone interested in living longer.
Okay, so with all of that incredible hype, what actually happens when we test NMN on real people? It's time to separate the big claims from the cold, hard clinical evidence. So what have human trials actually proven? Well, the good news is NMN does what it says on the tin. It reliably raises NAD+ levels in our blood, and it seems to be safe, at least in the short term. We've even seen some real measurable benefits, like better insulin sensitivity in our muscles and some small, and I mean modest, boosts in strength for older adults. But those giant claims, the ones that get all the headlines, that it can extend your lifespan or actually reverse your biological age, totally unproven in humans. And there's no real evidence for any big cosmetic changes either. So the bottom line from the science is this. The effects seem to be real, but this is no fountain of youth. Think of NMN as a tool that might offer some subtle, specific benefits, not some miracle pill that's going to make you feel 20 again overnight. But the story takes a really sharp turn right here, because even if you're okay with those modest benefits, a much, much bigger problem was brewing in the market. And this became the billion-dollar question. With NMN's popularity just exploding, the market was absolutely flooded with products. But what was actually inside all those bottles? Well, an independent lab decided to find out. They went out and tested 22 of the top-selling NMN brands you could find online. And the results were just staggering. Look at this chart. Only 14%, that tiny little green slice, actually had the amount of NMN they advertised on the label.
But this is the number that should really make you pause. 64%. Almost 2/3 of these best-selling supplements had less than 1% of the active ingredient they were selling. Some of them had absolutely none at all. Let's put that another way. For every 7 people buying NMN, only 1 of them was getting what they paid for. The other 6 were spending hundreds of dollars on, well, useless pills. This wasn't just a small quality issue. It was a complete and total market failure. So this quality crisis makes everything way more complicated. But let's just pretend for a second that you do find a reputable brand. How does NMN actually stack up against its main rival in the whole NAD+ boosting world?
NMN's main competitor is another molecule called NR, or nicotinamide riboside. They're related, but they're different. NMN is what's called a nucleotide, while NR is actually a form of vitamin B3. And the key difference seems to be where they shine. Studies on NMN point towards benefits for things like insulin sensitivity and sleep.
Meanwhile, the most promising research on NR seems to be pointing towards protecting our brains, neuroprotection.
So, which one is better? It's really not that simple. The evidence we have suggests that the right choice isn't about which molecule is better overall, but which one actually lines up with your own specific health goals. Okay, so after all of that, the hype, the science, the scandal, what's the final word? How should you actually think about NMN?
Here's a super simple 3-step checklist to keep in your head. First, please remember this is not a magic pill. The benefits that have been proven are real, but they are modest. Second, the quality problem is massive. If you are even thinking about trying it, you have to do your homework and find brands that can show you third-party testing results. And third, and this might be the most important part of this whole thing,
You just can't use a supplement to fix a broken foundation. NMN is designed to help optimize a system that's already healthy, not to replace the basics. If your sleep, diet, and exercise aren't dialed in, you're pretty much just creating very, very expensive pee. And that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Is this molecule a genuine glimpse into the future of anti-aging medicine, a really valuable tool if you use it correctly, or has it become an expensive, unregulated distraction that pulls our focus away from the simple, boring, but proven habits that actually determine how well we age? For now, it seems like the answer is a little bit of both.